What's today's date?
6th.
Hey folks, today is Friday, December 6th, 2019. As usual, my name is Jake, and we're here to talk about the video game news that has been going on this week. It's been a hell of a week. But before, just some housekeeping first. Linked in the description below is our community poll for Game of the Year. As you guys probably know, every year we do our own little Game of the Year awards type video, and we do our picks and your picks out there, the community. So it's down there. Go vote, so then you can't complain when you watch our video. Anyway, let's move on and talk about the first big story I'm really excited about because it involves Spider-Man. Not only does it involve Spider-Man, it involves Sam Raimi Spider-Man, the best Spider-Man. I mean, like, not really. It's up for debate, but I just love those movies, except for 3. Anyway, I digress. So to catch you guys back up, back in June, there was leaked screenshots and some art for a canceled Spider-Man 4 game because, as legend has it, Sam Raimi was initially working on a script for a follow-up to Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 4, involving the Vulture. There were a lot of casting rumors getting thrown around. It never got off the ground. Ultimately, he decided to walk away from the script, and Sony decided to, of course, reboot Spider-Man 1,000 times. But it seems like at the very least, they had plans to work on a game to accompany this, and because of the way production works, they probably wanted to get a head start, so they kind of got somewhere with it. So these screenshots are awesome, but thankfully, now we have a look at actual gameplay. Thanks to the YouTube channel Hard4 Games, which I really like their channel name. They've been killing it lately. They got their hands on a Wii dev kit that had a debug version, a demo of Spider-Man 4, a prototype, running. And they put it out, and you can see the video here. We'll link it in the description below, of course. Shout outs to them. It is very, very early, and it does not look as good as the screenshots and images that we've had leaked before, thanks to that artist that was previously working on the game. Here, it's a Wii version, so it's a little lower resolution, but it seems like a massive overhaul compared to the last game. They made a Spider-Man 3 game that was like Spider-Man 2, but not as good. Here, it seems like they kind of overhauled the animations, the way the web swinging even works. It seems like you need anchor points, but the swing animations had a lot of like oomph to them and momentum. The fighting looks to be, by today's standards, not like amazing, but for the time, that was very hot. And it looks like anything, the combat was going to play at least close to what we have now with the new Spider-Man PS4 game. They break down everything though. They go through, there's a bunch of like debug options and weird assets. Like nothing's finished. It's really just Spider-Man in an environment, some tech demo stuff. But even still, like, it's funny to see like they did make and develop a whole main menu that has what seems like concept art for a Spider-Man 4 thing in there. So that's it. Feast your eyes on the Spider-Man game that we're never gonna get, based on a Spider-Man movie that we're never gonna get. Godspeed, Spider-Man. Back to formula, Dr. Strom. How many more references can I have? Brilliant but lazy. Deliver us from evil. I'm ruined. I have nothing left but Spider-Man. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand. Misery, misery, misery. That's what you've chosen. This ain't no featherweight division here, small fry. I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime. Oh is the best quote. Oh. Now that I got that out of my system, let's move on and talk about Resident Evil 3, another really exciting bomb that dropped this week. So we've known that Capcom has been working on something. They've kind of alluded to a Resident Evil 3 Nemesis remake after the success and release of the Resident Evil 2 remake, one of my favorite games of the year. And thanks to what seems to be a PSN leak, we've got what looks to be some sort of promotional art cover image stuff for Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Boom. Look at this. We have a redesigned Nemesis, a redesigned Jill Valentine, a redesigned Carlos Oliveira. Also, along with that, there was leaked images of Resident Evil Project Resistance. The official art for that, it looks like the title of the game is going to be just Resident Evil Resistance. That's that cooperative multiplayer thing. But holy shit, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Look at this. I don't know how I feel yet about the redesign of the Nemesis. I'm glad they kept the teeth and stuff like that, but like that weird skin tube that goes on his neck is now a metal tube. I'm curious to see just how they approach the design of this game, considering the tweaks they did with the Resident Evil 2 remake and the whole Mr. X thing pursuing you. Are they going to change it up again? Are they going to keep that going here? Are they going to keep it scripted? I have so many questions. Also, when is this game coming? Because if this art is totally legit, this looks, pretty solid. A lot of us thought it was going to get announced at the Game Awards, but they have gone on record. Jeff Keighley himself, producer of the Game Awards, has said that Resident Evil 3 is not going to be announced there. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But now let's move on over and talk about next generation consoles. We finally got a little bit of stuff to talk about with PlayStation. First of all, they are doing a State of Play December 10th. That is next week. So we're probably going to get some sort of announcements just about games. But the real topic, the real thing I wanted to bring up are these pictures of development kits. This is essentially PlayStation 5 hardware out in the wild. These two units here. Now, stop. We talked about this before. We've seen this leaked in patent and prototype images and stuff like that and renderings, but this is not what the PlayStation 5 is going to look like. This is specifically development hardware unit. Apparently, it has that little indent to make them stackable when you're doing hardcore development. This is not a retail product at all, but at the very least, we know they're out there now. We can see them up and running. You can see the ports, and it was confirmed by a Verge journalist that these are legit. So now we do have that. We also have the patents and stuff of the PlayStation 5 controller we talked about a week or so back. So we're starting to have a good idea of what Sony's whole thing is going to be going forward next year. I'm really excited. I can't help it, even though now I am a PC player who upgrades their PC and ultimately it doesn't matter. I still the young person in me, I still can't help but get excited about new consoles on the horizon. Just the exciting unknown, Phil Spencer also went on record, head of Xbox, who said that he brought his Project Scarlet unit home, the next generation Xbox, and he's been using it connected to current Microsoft stuff. He's been playing games, he's been accessing his friends list and stuff like that, and he says it's great. Obviously, man at Microsoft says Microsoft Xbox is great. News at 11. I mean, but still, I think it's worth pointing out, it's kind of hammering home that it seems like they are focused on platform building and backwards compatibility and just kind of making it a seamless transition into a next generation, which that's cool. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at for the state of things. It seems like things are probably going to quiet down, at the end of the year now, and then 2020 is going to ramp up with all this stuff. So yeah, I don't know what else there is to say about that. Also, in case you missed it, Red Barrel's kind of low-key announced a new Outlast game. They had teased it, but what we know now is that it is a 4-player cooperative survival horror game set in the Cold War era. It's called Outlast Trials, and the image teases, multiple characters. Looks like they're wearing night vision goggles, which is kind of cool. At first, I thought it was VR. It could still be a VR game or have VR support. I don't know. I would like that as a VR fanboy, but that's just me. But Outlast hardcore people, I'm very curious to see what you guys think of this one, because I'm kind of not on the pulse of that, so let me know. Now we're at the part of the show where I just link a bunch of cool stuff in the description to get you caught up on stuff, some things that I think you should watch or look at. The first is actually a pretty good video from IGN. Brian Altano sat down with Respawn's Stig Asmussen to talk about Jedi Fallen Order stuff, spoiler talk stuff, and it was just a really good little interview. I really enjoyed it. Also, we haven't done this in a while, but we try and show off cool things that people make in the name of video games. So here on Twitter is at Andre Brazen, I think if I'm pronouncing that right. He tweeted at Harvey Smith, one of the guys behind Dishonored, this amazing Lego creation, recreating levels of Dishonored with Lego, and it looks amazing. Look at the level of detail here. That's so awesome. Also, we talked about Xbox already. We just really wanted to highlight this really cool history of Xbox video that our friends over at Austin Evans' channel made. This is Jimmy Champagne's baby. They took a long time to put this video together. We think it's a good watch, especially if you like good interviews and good production. Go check it out. Tell them we sent you. And last but not least, once again, I want to give a shout out to GameRanks Espanol. We have that official channel. It'll be linked in the description below. Our friend JB over there is doing great work. So if you do speak Spanish and would like a little bit more GameRanks content, a little different GameRanks content, consider going over there and checking it out. Now, moving on to some more news, a little snippet that I was really excited about is the possibility of A Plague Tale 2. Yo, did you play A Plague Tale yet?
No.
Come on, man.
I know.
Get on
it. My list. I will.
So as of right now, it is a rumor. It comes from a French website, but they suggest that the developer, I believe it's pronounced Asobo, who had worked on the original game, is once again working with publisher Focus Home Interactive to make another one. Apparently, the thing here is announcement 2020 and then actual release in 2022. So it is a rumor, of course. Take it with a grain of salt. I can't say that anymore. It's like a meme now.
I know. At this point.
Still, Focus Home Interactive didn't deny it. They have said, hey, we've publicly said that we're working with Asobo again. We just can't say yet what it is we're working on. So I hope it is A Plague Tale 2, because that's another one of my surprise favorite games of the year. You should definitely check it out. If you like single-player story, narrative, adventure stuff, show up for that one, man. I'm just very curious to see where they could take it. If you did play the game, let's talk in the comments about where they could go with it. Try to keep it spoiler free though. Also, since it's just like a great week for things that Jake likes, they announced a new Starship Troopers game. This is Starship Troopers Terran Command. It's dropping in 2020, and it is a RTS in the classic sense. Even though I'm not like the most massive RTS person, I do like some strategy, and I really love Starship Troopers, and it feels like they're getting the vibe here. The developers have went on record saying they're pursuing like the language, the imagery, the vibe of Paul Verhoeven's classic awesome satirical movie. And even from the trailer, the voiceover and some of the things here and there, you can tell that they do get it. And I'm very happy to see that. Believe it or not, this isn't the first Starship Troopers game. There was Starship Troopers Terran Ascendancy in the early 2000s, which was a thing. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I love that movie. It was based on a book. I didn't read it, but I love the movie. But now, before we go, we got to do that console giveaway we do every single week. You know how this goes by now. There's a link in the description below. You click it to sign up. You enter once, then you're entered for good. And then every single week, we go in and randomly choose one person to win a free console of their choice. And this week's winner is going to be this person right here. Congratulations. Be sure to keep an eye on your inbox, your spam box, stuff like that, because we're going to be reaching out to you to find out how to send you your free stuff. But now, before we go, this episode is brought to you by Audible. They have a massive, unmatched selection of audiobooks and content, and we're really happy to be sponsored by them because, like I always say on the show, you know, we talk about video games so much here, you might as well do your homework on them, right? Audible is perfect for this, especially since you can listen anywhere, you know, at home, on the train, at the gym, or even on the way to your relative's house for the holidays. Currently, I'm listening to Metro 2033 by Dmitry Golovsky, coming hot off of Metro Exodus. It's one of my favorite games of the year. They also have the follow-up books Metro 2034 and Metro 2035 as well. Audible has a convenient app so you can pick up where you left off and listen wherever you are, and with a subscription, members get tons of access. You choose 3 titles every month, 1 audiobook and 2 Audible originals, so you can just feed your brain with tons of knowledge. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Audible for just $6.95. That's more than half off the regular price. Here's what you gotta do, and it is linked in the description, but you go to audible.com/GameRanks or text GameRanks to 500-500. Once again, that's audible.com/GameRanks or text GameRanks to 500-500. Go give yourself the gift of listening. And thanks again to Audible for sponsoring this video. Thank you for that, but now we gotta go. Before we do though, let's talk about all this stuff in the comments. A Starship Troopers game. I still would really like a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter, but I'll take a new RTS. Also, PlayStation 5, Xbox Scarlet. How are you feeling on this stuff as we have a lot of information now? Are you hot on it? Are you cold on it? And like one or the other? I don't know. Let's talk. And of course, the canceled Spider-Man 4 game that never was. I just love that type of thing. Like, I don't really like, you know, I'm not mourning the loss of this game, but I just love seeing these channels, these journalists, these people who dig up, unearth stuff that we wouldn't have seen otherwise, you know? Let's talk about anything video game news going on this week. Resident Evil 3, anything like that. Down in the comments. Gets a little crazy, though, so if you want to yell at me specifically, be sure to do that on Twitter and Instagram at Jake Baldino as well. But now, thank you guys for watching so much. Clicking the like button does help us out. We would really appreciate that as we wrap up this year. Like I said, you can go vote for our Game of the Year stuff down in the description. Please do. Other than that, though, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me.